bathtub. Of
Is
course,
that
it
right?
was the same water, so we all had to jump in and out. And so a lot of people grew up in those years. That was in, I was born in 43, so we're pretty much from the same era, aren't we?
Well, I'm a little bit older than you, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
you old.
yes, I'm an old guy.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to call you an old fart. And
That's right, exactly. Well, yeah.
Now we're going to hear from our wonderful sponsors, and we'll be right back with Clyde McCulley.
Joining January Jones as her co-host on the show is Miles Miller, the great success creator. Miles is a 2-time best-selling author with books entitled Against the Grain and Successonomics. He continues to transform 100,000 people all over the world through his speaking and training. His uplifting and essential messages like Bulletproof, Time Machine, and Strength in Numbers are impacting every audience he meets. Together with January Jones, they'll explore how to be successful and what steps you can take to achieve the success you want. Visit successhq.net, leadup.biz, and learningbreaks.com. With over 30 years as a registered nurse with empathic abilities, Carolyn Green, aka the Energy Nurse, is bridging the gap between traditional and alternative medicine. Certified in the areas of energy medicine, life coaching, and as a medical intuitive, she brings to each client an integrative approach to body, mind, and spirit. Her book, found on Balboa Press and Amazon, Getting to Know You, Guided Pearls of Wisdom for a More Soulful Existence, is a channel journey for clearing the mind clutter to bring about healthier thought patterns. As a motivational speaker, Carolyn brings new light to old issues and is engaging, interactive, and enlightening. With her newly launched The Energy Nurse Jewelry line, she brings to you stones and crystals that are not only beautiful to wear, but balancing and healing as well. To contact or learn more about Carolyn, go to www.theenergynurse.com. Lately, there's a whining epidemic in our world. People are even whining about whining. Are you sick and tired of listening to everyone whining all the time? So was January Jones, the author of Thou Shalt Not Whine, the 11th commandment that reached #1 at Amazon.com. Ms. Jones based her book on a survey of the top 10 things that people whine about at all ages and all stages of life. January is a success coach that can tell you how to help others. When you buy Thou Shalt Not Whine, the 11th commandment, you'll find out what people whine about and how to stop them from whining. This is the perfect gift book to give or get for any occasion. Thou Shalt Not Whine was voted the best gift to be given anonymously for those special people in your life. Ms. Jones is an internationally known author in the style of Irma Bombeck, specializing in housewife humor with her book being published in Korea and China. You can find Thou Shalt Not Whine at Amazon.com.
Hello?
January's co-host, Connie Cockrell, the author of Mystery at the Fair, has been writing since 2011 after a challenge from her daughter. An eclectic writer, she's written mysteries, sci-fi, fantasy, and even a thriller. She has been included in 4 different anthologies and published on the e-zine Everyday Fiction. Connie continues to write and entertain with whatever comes into her head. You can find her books on most ebook retail sites. Paperback editions are also available. Be sure to visit her at www.conniesrandomthoughts.com, on Facebook, and on Twitter at Connie Cockrell. The new book, God Reconsidered, Searching for the Truth in the Battle Between Atheism and Religion by Scott Smith, explains why both militant atheists and believers in traditional religions ignore inconvenient truths. Scott argues in favor of the insights of Gnostic Christianity. Check out www.godreconsidered.com to read a sample chapter. That's godreconsidered.com.
Have you ever met someone who was unforgettable? Someone who has touched your heart and soul? People who have faced difficult problems, people who have fearlessly shared their stories, their struggles, and their successes, people who have priceless personalities. In my new book, Priceless Personalities, Success Stories Shared by January Jones, I am honored to be able to share with you people dealing with problems such as incest, molestation, child abuse, drug abuse, polygamy, unemployment, scandal, starting over, self-esteem, and workplace issues. My guests have all been exciting, eclectic, and energizing. They will amaze, amuse, and even astonish you. You will adore getting to meet them at Amazon.com. My book is now available, 2 for 1, paperback and Kindle editions. I'm pleased to announce that my book is now available at audiblebooks.com too. We have a priceless personality visiting with us today. He is very priceless, Clyde McCulley.
Oh, thank you. That's what my wife tells me.
I'm the sweet talker today. Now, Clyde, let's share your website information and also where people can get your wonderful book.
Okay. My book is available on Amazon, but they can also go to our website, which is called, they just go to WWW.
Okay.
Just a second. Oh, I'm sorry. WWW.story, S-T-O-R-Y, Story Night, N-I-G-H-T, Press, storynightpress.com. And on there, they can click the links because we have my book, The Boy on Shady Grove Road. And then we also have 2 children's books that my daughter and I have put together called Little Cuties, Let's Pretend. My daughter is a designer in Kansas City. And so we have put together those books as well. And today, to honor all of your listeners, we are giving these books away, ebooks away, free. So if anyone will simply dial in www.storynightpress.com, then they can click on those, and it'll take them to Amazon. And you won't be charged for – there are 2 of the books that are given away today. Amazon screwed up on us a little bit. There's one more will be available tomorrow. But there will be 2 available today, and we'd really appreciate people to download those. So it's a nice gift.
Oh, it's lovely. And now, what are the titles of the books?
My book is The Boy on Shady Grove Road, and that's about 100 stories and little vignette stories. It's great for if you just have a few minutes here and there to read. The other 2 are called Little Cuties, Let's Pretend, and one of them is Animals. And the other is Little Cuties, Let's Pretend in the Garden. And these are really unique children's books. The Little Garden book has all kinds of vegetables and fruits and things that the people can take their little kid and the book to the grocery store with them, and they can look and they can see what a real eggplant looks like and what an artichoke and all of these kinds of things, as well as the normal things that they normally think of.
Oh, my gosh, this is fascinating. I didn't realize you had 100 stories in your book, and I didn't realize you had Little Cuties. So we're going to, I'm going to talk to you about becoming a regular, because with 100 stories, we could do this show forever, couldn't we?
Oh, yes. In fact, I will tell you a little secret that I'm going to start doing, too. I kind of had this saved for the end, but we're kind of jumping around here a little bit, and that is that I listened to a webinar by a lovely lady named January Jones with Daniel Hall a month or so ago. And I listened to the webinar, and I sent her a little note afterwards and said, I'd like to be a guest on your show. And she wrote back and said, okay. And so here we are today. But what's interesting is that you really got me all charged up on that webinar about doing podcasting. And so I'm starting a podcast soon, and I will let you know when this happens. It's going to be called Mama's White Gravy, and it will be a nostalgic podcast of the good old days. Times remembered, sights, sounds, and smells of the past that many people call the good old days. And I will be telling many stories from my book, as well as talking about those old Burma shave signs along the road and Pepsodent.
I remember those.
Yes, and it goes on because we had so many things. Did you ever know of fluoroscopes in a shoe store that you would go in and you'd put your feet in the into this machine, and you look down through the top, and it was X-rays, and you'd see your toes of your bones of your feet and your shoes, and so here we were getting X-rayed. Didn't know. We did it every week. Kenny, my sidekick, and I would ride our bikes into town every week and go and put our feet in this machine and wiggle our toes, and got the biggest kick out of it. Well, I mean, there were a lot of wild things that went on those days.
Oh, yeah. I remember the signs on the road. And, I'm thrilled that you're going to go into podcast world, because I think you'll be a natural. You've got so much material. And I just adore the opportunity to mentor you. And, I mean, it's never too late to start a new adventure, is it?
No, that's the thing. You said, what does success mean to me? Success means just keep doing. As a professor of art for all those years, and the dean of an art school, the director of an art school for the last 20 years of my career, and at the Munson Williams Proctor School of Art in Utica, New York, we were affiliated with the Pratt Institute, and now I now have pulmonary fibrosis, it's called, and it's kind of slowed me down a lot because my wife and I did a lot of renovating of places after I retired on lakes and so forth, and then we'd put them back on the market. And now we own the Seacliff Cottage Suites on Grand Manan Island, and those are weekly rentals that we run during the summer. And then our southern home is Portland, Maine for the winter, which is not exactly southern, but it's kind of fun.
Let me ask you a question. When did you meet your wife, and how long have you been married?
My wife and I have been married 32 years. She's my second wife. I met her in Massachusetts 34 years ago. And I was divorced and met her and then I took a job out in Utica, New York as the head of the art school there. And then a year later, she joined me and we were married. And so we've been together ever since. She's owned a toy shop that was a great toy shop for 16 years. That's still going today. And she's taught ESL in college. And so she and I just do a little bit of all kinds of things.
Well, that sounds wonderful.
We just have fun.
I've been married 45 years, and this is my second husband, too.
Yeah.
So there's always hope for everyone.
That's right.
Now, let's talk a little bit. Let's go back to your wonderful success story. Now, your circumstances were challenging, to say the least, extremely colorful. How did that drive you, Clyde?
Well, we needed money. We didn't have any allowance when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. Our family didn't even know what that word allowance meant. I don't know. No one else spell it. But we played all Kenny and I. Kenny was my nephew, 3 years younger than me. My oldest sister had a child when she was 16, and she got married and had a child. And then he came back, and they lived close to us, and we grew up together. Sorry. And so anyway, we played in the fields and the streams, and we built huts and we built log cabins, and we had all kinds of adventures. We didn't have Boy Scouts because we couldn't get into town at night. We didn't have a car, and so we had to do our own little clubs. And but we needed to have a little money, so we would pick up Coke bottles along the road, Coca-Cola bottles, and we sold those. And we also learned to charge the other kids to come in and watch us do some of our fantastic things. For instance, the old Victrola we had a wind-up spring on it, and we broke it. And so now we couldn't play the Victrola. So I thought of an idea. I thought if we take a board, put a nail up through it, and put the record over the nail, and one of us turn it, maybe if we took a broom straw, we could put it down there and make it play, because we could see the needle how it worked. Well, that didn't work. So then I got the idea, put it between my teeth. And so I took the broom straw, put it between my teeth, and held it. I could hear the music a little bit. Sorry. And then I decided if I'd put my fingers in my ears, well, then maybe I could hear it. And sure enough, it did. So then we started out inviting all the kids in the community to come in. We charged them each a nickel a piece to come in and hear the records played. And then they wanted to turn them. We said, well, you have to pay a penny to turn them. So they did that. And we also found that we could catch regular houseflies. And we could drown them. We would put them underwater and hold them underwater and drown them. And then we would lay them on the table and totally cover them with salt. In about 5 or 10 minutes, they'd start to move a little bit, jiggle a little bit, and finally they'd get up and fly away. So we